You've probably seen pictures of an old type of bicycle which has a massive front wheel and a comparatively tiny back wheel. This was sometimes known as the ordinary bicycle or the penny farthing. Now, this bicycle was interesting because it had a big front wheel and a small back wheel, but this was necessary for a couple reasons. Now, in the modern day, we achieve speed in bicycles by having different gear ratios. Some gear ratios will allow the input to be a lot slower and the output to be very, very fast. But back in the late 1800s, when this gear ratio thing did not really exist yet, they had to increase the size of the front wheel because with each pedal stroke, the front wheel, if it was a lot bigger, would have a bigger circumference and thus a bigger distance it would travel. And such was the reason for these penny farthing bikes, which would have very large front wheels to help them achieve speed. These front wheels would also provide some smoothness in the ride because bigger spokes tend to be able to be a little bit more elastic and they would kind of have some shock absorption functions if the ground was rough. And also a big front wheel would obviously also be able to ride better over obstacles such as potholes because back then roads were far from perfect. The penny farthing's odd shape, however, also made it somewhat unstable. Smooth doesn't necessarily mean stable. It had an awkward weight distribution and your center of gravity would be in a really awkward place when riding this thing, so it would be quite easy to fall, and if you had to stop the bike, you might get kind of flung into the ground. Plus the fact that just mounting and dismounting this thing is far from easy because of the very considerably sized front wheels. So even though this bike was a way to achieve speed, now we have a much better way of gear change without compromising safety and also the experience.